Okay. Well, great. Nice to meet you. And I know some of you who wanted to be here couldn't be here and are excited to watch back the recording. So you'll receive that soon. So for those of you who are watching back, and no worries at all. All right, I have a couple of notes here that at the beginning I will be going through for what you can expect at the very beginning of this training, of this somatic release training. And I want to start with sharing that you are in the right place if you are experiencing some of the upcoming symptoms, some of the next symptoms. Maybe you're even experiencing all of them, which is noticing that you're feeling a bit reactive. And when you have noticed that you were reactive, that you feel some shame and guilt about it afterwards, or noticing that you have a lot of negative inner self-talk. And also, when you're noticing I have a great self-reflection, because with a great self-reflection also often comes like this high inner critical voice who will afterwards tell you, oh my gosh, you did this wrong. If you are experiencing pain or feeling sick or maybe overall just tired, if you probably already know some tools, but you just cannot get yourself to really do them enough to fully get out of certain patterns that you're in. Now, this training is not for you if you are stuck with blaming everyone or all of the circumstances around you. If you expect other people to do the work for you, or if getting to know yourself on deeper layers scares you. This is definitely not for you. Now, if you want a quick fix for your problems, also not the training for you. And also not for you if you do not want to, after me giving you this free training, to listen to my share for about 5 minutes about my new upcoming program. Then this is also not the right training for you. Okay, what are we going to do today? Today, I will guide you through some somatic practices that go a bit beyond logic and beyond the thinking brain. So we're actually going to go deep into the body, deep into the tissue of our body, where all of our stress, trauma, and belief systems are actually stored. And by the end of this training, you will be feeling lighter, you feel clearer, and you'll feel more like yourself. And you'll have the tools that you will be able to return to again and again. And I know some of you who are watching this back already know this because I know you are returning returning students. So I'm excited for you guys to watch this back and walk away with a bit more tools. At the end of the training, you will always also be able to spot some hidden stress and some hidden trauma that has been showing up in your life. And you'll be able to release the exhaustion that has been present within your body, both emotionally and physically. You'll be able to reconnect with your body more as an ally instead of an enemy. So, because oftentimes when we feel sick or tired or we have brain fog, we get a little angry at our body. So, by the end of this training, you'll be reconnected with your body again. And we'll dive a bit into what it feels like to really experience deep self-love, to actually feel that within your body. All right, now a little bit about me. I know, again, for the people who are watching, some people who are watching this back, some of you already know me. My name is Shanti. I am 38 years old and I am living in Costa Rica, which is such a dream place to live, so I love it. I am originally from the Netherlands. My mother is Dutch and my father is from Curaçao, from the Caribbean. And I'm a somatic and holistic coach. Now, what does that mean? It means that all of the healing work I do comes from the body. We can never, ever heal from the mind alone. It's really not possible. If you would only heal from the mind alone, you might understand everything, but it's not, you cannot integrate it fully in your body. You're gonna go absolutely nowhere. And I've worked in regular mental health before for a very long time. And I was a coach in regular mental health for about, I think, 11 years, something like that. And I kind of noticed that people could go only until a certain level of depth. Because after 11 years, I had like my own awakening and I went so deep. And I noticed that we can go a lot deeper than regular mental health usually goes. So around 6 years ago, I started working for myself and I started Inner Bliss Travels. And that has really been a childhood dream of mine. So I'm super grateful to be doing this. I started reading about human trauma around, I think I was like 10 years old. So I was like really, really young. And my dad was a family therapist. So I used to like sneak into his room and read his notes. I was already obsessed with it. And I remember around that same time, I was asked to draw what I wanted to be when I grew up. And I drew myself in an office where people were like walking in. I wasn't really good at drawing, so it was like this stick figure type drawing. And people were walking into the office and their mouth was like very sad and they had a tear on their in their eyes and they walked out with a smile on their face. So this has been really, really a childhood dream. And I think my very first school presentation was about child abuse. Wait, it wasn't my very first. I was 10 years old, so. And probably my first was about like an animal or something. All right, now a little bit about my journey. I started sharing already a little bit about my own awakening. Um, what might be a bit interesting to also share is that I started traveling like around 7 years ago. I stopped traveling now. Now I live in Costa Rica, which has been really great. But around that time is where my own awakening started. And to be honest, I do think I've already been on this path. I've already always been on this path, but it just got deeper and deeper. And because I started doing my first meditation when I was like 7 years old, and I did not know I was meditating, but I know what it is now. Of course, now I do it a lot more frequently and a bit more structured, I guess. But at that time, I was almost experiencing burnout, and I was always taking care of the people around me. And I kind of felt only worthy if I was of service to others. I kind of felt out of place. And there was this gut feeling in my body that was saying there's more for me out there. At that time, my nervous system was completely fried. I was completely dysregulated. And I spent years working very deeply with my nervous system and understanding my nervous system. And today I can proudly say that I have a very regulated nervous system. And after doing all of that inner work, right now I am experiencing a lot of calm and peace and joy. Actually, no matter what's happening around me. There were a lot of things that were happening in my life a couple of years ago, and I noticed because of those practices, I was able to stay present within my body, stay with the feelings that were there, and that allowed me to stay peaceful and calm and still joyful. Of course, there's sadness there or anger or whatever it is, but the baseline was that peace that was there and that calm that was in there. Now, at the moment, I know I shared already where I live. I live in Costa Rica, but I am really deeply in love with my life and also with myself. Deeply in love with myself as well. Now, if that triggers you when I say that, I really am very grateful that you're here in this training doing this with me because every single person deserves to be deeply in love with their lives and themselves as well. Now, I'll share a little bit of fun facts about me, and I shared one already, which is that I traveled the world in many different countries and stayed in many of them for longer periods of times. Another fun fact, I used to own a dance school. Right now, I use those skills within my signature program, Soulful Rebirth, where we use like different dance practices to work with the tissue of our body, with everything that's stored within our body. And I'm also a yoga teacher. I also use the yoga teachings in the signature program of Soulful Rebirth. So I work with all of those tools. Another fun fact is that I speak three different languages, and I'm currently working on my fourth, Spanish. It's been a challenge. It's been a challenge, but it's exciting. It's exciting too. So hopefully soon I'll be able to speak languages fluently. So let's see. Another thing about me is I just cannot help but follow my heart. It's not always easy, but it is, in my experience, always very, very worth it. And the last thing is I do not believe in comfort zones. I believe comfort zones are made to really get out of because they're truly just holding you back. Now, why am I doing this and why am I doing this training? I deeply believe that this work is needs to be accessible to everybody. This knowledge is something that the entire world needs to have. We all deserve to feel good and we all deserve to live without stress taking over in our body or trauma still determining certain patterns in our life or like creating pain or sickness or tiredness. So this is why I do this free training. I do it around twice a year and it's because of this. Now, why is it a body reset? Why are we like releasing so much in our body during this training? It's because our bodies are hiding so much. Our bodies are nonstop talking to us. The only problem is we ignore our body. We have never fully learned how to actually listen to our body. Now, for example, you might feel like, okay, what are you talking about? I know how to listen to my body. I can hear when my body's in pain. I can hear when my body is exhausted. I might even be able to hear when my body's having a panic attack or is feeling anxious. Although, even with the panic attack, there's a lot of people who do not recognize having a panic attack. They just experience certain symptoms, and afterwards, they're like, wait, that might have been a panic attack. Anyways, this is something you might hear, but that's not actually hearing your body. That's hearing your body scream. So in a way, you're hearing your body, but you're only hearing your body when it's screaming, when it's saying, I'm exhausted, I'm in pain, I am feeling sick, I'm having panic attack, I'm feeling anxious, I'm having feel depressed. Those are screams from the body. It's your body being upset with you because you haven't listened to it. Now, listening to our body starts earlier. It starts in those small details because our body is constantly guiding us in life. It is constantly talking to us in small signals and also sometimes in bigger signals. Now, to give you an example, if you're, for example, snapping at your children or your partner or friends or family or colleagues, and it can even be internally, it doesn't always have to be externally. Or maybe you don't feel as calm or patient as you would want to be. This is a big sign of your nervous system feeling completely dysregulated. Your nervous system telling you you've been suppressing something for way too long. Something is being triggered and it's trying to talk to you. Now, it's very easy to say, and I think we've all once or twice, not just once or twice, we've all done this many times to just say, oh no, I was just tired. This is why I felt a bit snappy or a bit more easily dysregulated. But it's not as simple as that. If you pay really close attention to your body and to your emotions, you will actually be able to tell the trigger. You will actually be able to tell why you feel snappy. Now, I'll give you one example. If you are asking something of your child, your family member, your partner, whoever, friends, or whatever, and that person isn't doing what you asked it to do, in certain moments you might feel or you might snap in that moment, and then afterwards feel deep guilt. And I'm saying that because if you're on this call with me or watching this recording, you have a deep reflection. I attract people with deep reflection, self-reflection. And that is great, but as I mentioned before, it also comes with a highly critical voice. Now, I know some of you recognize this. Now, if we dive a little bit deeper into self-compassion, well, this we're going to do this later, but we'll be able to hold ourselves within this space, to be able to hold ourselves with self-compassion around the moments when we are dysregulated and make certain choices, have certain actions, or we notice that we respond snappy towards someone. All right, I'm noticing because I'm talking about the self-compassion right now, I want to put a lot in today's practice, but let's see how much we will be able to do today. I'll reel myself in every here and then. So let's go back to the body snapping at certain times. This is in those moments, it's your thinking brain being shut down. Your survival brain is being turned on. And at this moment, your survival brain is doing the work for you. And in other words of saying this, you're in fight, flight, or freeze. So in that moment, you cannot logically think anymore because your thinking brain is shut down. Now, to quickly go over that, this is your nervous system that's sensing danger, unsafety, and it's activating your body to get ready to fight the danger in front of you, or to freeze, to play dead, or to flight, to run away. Now, why on earth would your nervous system think, okay, I need to activate my survival brain when your child or partner isn't doing something, or even friend or family member isn't doing something you asked them to do? So this is not about them. It's that situation that's in front of you that's reminding you of something old. Now, luckily, there's a remedy for this, and this is regulating your body again, coming back into your thinking brain, activating your thinking brain. And we're going to use some somatic tricks today to activate our thinking brain again. We're going to do that in the second half of the training. So not the transformational practices, but the somatic practices. And as I told you, this is an interactive training. So it's definitely not just me talking. You're going to have to really be doing the work. So right now, I already want to ask you to think about a situation this week that made you feel snappy or dysregulated or activated or whatever it was. And already write that down. If you haven't gotten a journal by now, please go and get it. And write down that moment when you noticed I responded a bit less patient than I wanted to, or maybe I withdrew a bit more than I wanted to, or maybe you even noticed you were numbing out. And then later I'm going to ask you to go into that feeling and to really go to the core of that feeling. And then I'm going to ask you, have you felt this before? You can already start doing this a little bit right now. We're gonna really use this as an example at the first part of the transformational practice, but already sit with that right now. Feel into that right now. I'll give an example to help with the idea of, okay, some of those moments when you felt maybe a little bit snappy or noticing what you were numbing out. I'm going to go with that example that I gave around feeling that you responded a bit more snappy towards your partner, children, friends, family member, coworker, whoever. In that moment, if you go to the core of it, it could be that feeling was reminding you of the thought or the belief system within you that I'm a failure. And them not listening to me is a direct reflection of this, that I'm a failure, that I do not matter, that I'm not important, or whatever it is. Or it can be that your partner is not doing what you asked your partner to do, And that can be a direct reflection of your inner belief system of, I always have to do everything alone. And this is not about the situation or even that person. It's always about something deeper. This belief has always been formed earlier, way earlier. Now, let's dive into the signals from our body. And these signals can be, for example, tension in your belly, tension in your heart, or your heart skipping a beat, or your breath responding, like when your breath becomes shallow. One of the things when our breath becomes shallow, one of the tricks or tools from our body when we avoid our emotions is to become shallow. Because the more shallow our breathing is, the more easily it is to not feel our feelings. So it's kind of smart of our body. So maybe your breath is speeding up. It's trying to get a bit more energy. Now, this all might seem very small. Like we all have these moments throughout the day and we often ignore it. Okay, wait, I feel some tension in my belly. Wait, I'm noticing my breath changing. It's so easy to step over that and just really ignore all of that. But these moments are actually gigantic. They're huge. Because if you would have zoomed in and listened for that minute, you would have actually heard your body say, honey, we're so tired. I don't want to do this for this person. I need to take care of me first. But instead, we ignore this. And then your body is actually going to step into flight. So I'm just going to do this for this person. I'm just going to ignore all of these signals and I'm just going to step over all of my boundaries in my body and all of the limits in my body. So there's this gigantic buildup. And then all of a sudden, someone asks something of you in the wrong way and you snap. Not because of that person, but because your body was looking for an outlet of that built up tension. Fight. Now, if we would have actually listened to the first signals from our body, and then if you would have listened even better to your body, you would have zoomed in even more, you would have heard your belly say, okay, there's some fear hidden. There's some fear hidden here. There's a fear about saying no. There's a fear about resting, about putting myself first. Because that's the next layer. The layer when we learn to work with our emotions. For example, fear. But it can also be anger or sadness or even happiness and joy. These are also all expressed by our body. And here are the hidden belief systems, our traumas. And for example, the fear about resting, the fear about putting yourself first, the fear about saying no. Because when you feel that unworthiness coming up, what will they think about me? What will they still love me if I express this boundary? Chances are you were being loved as a child was when you were being useful. Or the thought around about behind it is when you actually rest, some hidden pain or some emotions that you stuffed far, far away might come up. So it's so much easier to just stay busy. Now, you might have seen your parents constantly staying busy, also completely avoiding their emotions. So when we see that as a child, we learn emotions are scary. Let's stay away. So this is why our nervous system and our body will then register, okay, I'll support you with some pain in your lower back or maybe your neck or your shoulders because it's better to safer to store all of that pain in our bodies, store all those emotions and that stress and that trauma so you will not have to confront it. And then when you finally have a moment of rest, you numb. You know, with doom scrolling or watching TV or anything else that makes you actually have to sit with your emotions. Now, this is your body in phrase, playing dead. So we don't have to be confronted with it. And now you might be, all right, stop screaming at me. And I do want to say we all do this. However, if we do this long enough, we risk getting sick. We risk constantly experiencing pain in our bodies, feeling exhausted and never feeling fully rested, even when you just woke up, or feeling deeply unsatisfied with your life. And when we at one point decide to not listen and actually do something about it, the other consequence is that we allow the next generation to break the patterns that we couldn't. So we hold on to it. We would literally just hand it over to the next generation. Now, I know nobody wants that. And I know that's why you're either here or watching this recording back. You want to do something about that. And now, since you're here or watching it back, I know that you're also aware that if you do not start now, that you're gonna risk experiencing one of these things, and that now is the time for you to actually take the steps in that direction. So, since you're here, I also know that you are someone who probably has already dipped some toes in some healing work. Let me take a sip. Now, why am I saying that I already know that you've put some toes into the healing work? It's because the work I do is really, really deep. And it's so deep that you wouldn't be here or watch it back if you weren't ready. It would scare off the people who aren't ready to go that deep. Since you're here, I know you are ready. And you are ready to actually now up level and step into that new version of you that has literally been calling you. Again, now how do I know this? It's because that inner knowing, that inner feeling, that burning feeling within you, that there's more for you out there. And it's because there is. When you feel that it's you actually connecting to that version of you, that up-leveled version of you, who's trying to reach you and say, it's time, it's ready. Okay, right now, I'm going to invite you to start writing this down. We're going to go and step into some of the transformational part of the training. So please write down. We're gonna work with some of the subconscious beliefs before we're gonna go into that somatic part. Write down the moment this week where your body was communicating something to you. And think about those small signals that I was mentioning before. And then ask yourself what was happening. So just write these questions down because I'm going to invite you to really take some time with reflecting on it. What was happening? What was your body trying to tell you? And now think about, because there are the big screams and then there's the smaller moments. Think about the smaller moments too. What was your body actually trying to tell you? Maybe in the small and the big moments. And what thought was on repeat in your head this week around this situation? And then the last part, maybe zoom in even deeper. What belief system was underneath that? Okay, if you've written it down, I'm just going to give a couple of examples. Now, if you felt anger coming up this week, for example, when someone asked you to do something for them, what was the body trying to communicate to me? My body was trying to communicate a boundary. I needed to take care of me, not of someone else. There was an overall feeling present of I always have to do everything. Now, if I would zoom in on that belief, I always have to do everything. Why do I feel that? So if we know life is a mirror and everything always gets mirrored back to us, everything. Why would I have created this reality? So why would this mirror reflect back a reality that I always have to do everything? Now we're going to go into a pause moment for you to really reflect on these questions. So really sit with them before we're going to go into the somatic part, because we're going to first do this transformation part. Then we're going to use this into the somatic part. I'm going to pause the recording right now.
Helemaal goed, hè?
Switching to English. Now, we just zoomed in on one example, but there can be so many different examples, and they all will have different roots. Different belief systems, different traumas, different stresses have different roots. In, for example, parenting, we have a different root. Our belief system in parenting will have different roots. Work situation will have different roots. Our romantic life, partners will have different roots. Now, in Soulful Rebirth, in my program, we're going to zoom in on all of those. And in that program, I will coach you individually as well. And we're going to really go into the specificity of your situation. But what we're going to do today is we're going to just go with a few of those examples. Now, one of those examples that I just mentioned earlier before I pressed pause is, the taking care of other people's needs. That can be from early on in childhood already learning you didn't have anyone taking care of your needs. So you had to create a life that felt safe. One where you have to do everything alone. This way, our nervous system can feel safe again, because it's very familiar. It's a familiar pattern. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to use those roots that we just worked on, and we're going to move this into the somatic part of the day. We're going to learn how to actually relax our nervous system, because this is something we truly all need to know. We all need to have the basic knowledge of relaxing our nervous system. And one of the last students, or what's the one before? I think 2 programs ago. Someone said, yeah, it was 2 programs ago. Someone said very beautifully, I feel like this is a mandatory skill that everybody must learn, and actually starting at a young age already. And I fully agree. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use the example, and we're going to quickly go into a somatic part where we're going to use our body to express the way we've been feeling. I'm going to turn on music. I'm going to ask you to stand up soon when the music has started and to act out the way we've been feeling. So I'll give an example of, okay, I'm feeling overwhelmed. All right, when I'm feeling overwhelmed, and I'm going to use that in the music, I prefer it if you stand up. If that doesn't feel safe and you want to stay seated, do that. But I highly recommend to stand up, because our bodies are also energy. So when we stay seated, we give less of the opportunity for things to come up. We want tears to flow. We want anger to come up. We want everything to be present. So when we stand up, we're saying to our body, okay, it's safe to let it all come up. So if I would embody the feeling of overwhelm, and let me turn on some music. So I'll give an example. I'll start with, this is not the song we're going to do. Share this. Here we go. Is this loud enough? Can you put a thumbs up if it's loud enough? Or like write in the chat or something. You hear the music?
Ik hoor het een heel klein beetje.
Okay, it needs to be louder. All right.
Ik hoor eigenlijk alleen een soort beat.
That is weird. This is on its max. It's so weird. How can I? Okay, maybe here. Is this louder?
Klopt het dat ik alleen maar een soort trommeltje hoor met een
Ja,
paar keer een klein beetje
met een
muziek
fluit.
erop? Ja, klein beetje. Ja.
But it's soft.
Ja.
Okay. Wait, is it getting louder now? Or it doesn't change?
Het is
Is it
iets harder volgens mij.
okay?
Ik kan het niet zo heel goed horen.
Oh gosh. All right. That's weird. So if I would embody the feeling of overwhelm, I would do it like this. Like, I'm tired. I'm so tired. I kind of want to crawl up in a ball. Or maybe I want to collapse. And maybe from when so almost as if you're in a theater. So I will not be able to see you, but imagine me telling you more. I want to, as if I'm watching a theater show and I want to be able to understand how you're feeling. So make it excessive. It feel very weird in the beginning, but trust me, your body will say, oh, this is how we're feeling. All right, let's go into it. So this would be, for example, my overwhelm. I'm so tired. And I maybe even want to collapse. Now, if I want to express anger, I'm going to stamp my feet. Do this movement because I'm angry. If I'm feeling sad or lost, I might make myself into a ball. And move your body. Make it big movements, expressive movements. So start with this. I'm gonna see if I turn this on again, if it will be louder, because I don't get why it's not as loud. And if it's not as loud, maybe turn up your volume as well to the max. Oh, where did it go? Go back. Come back, playlist. Ah, there it is, I think. No. Sorry. Where are you? Okay, good. So we're going to work with this one. Start with expressing yourself. Really be excessive in the expressing of the movement. I will dance with you. Feel free to look at me if you need examples. I will move into different expressions of emotions. And feel free to use wording with it as well. I'm so tired. I don't want to hold this anymore. Feel free to use wording. Feel like I feel like when you have negative self-talk, say it out loud. You don't want to avoid it. You want to look at it.
De verbinding is een klein beetje slecht.
Oh,
Ik hoorde niet helemaal wat je zei.
oh. Okay, hold on. Let me see. That.
Ja, nu hoor ik.
Nu hoor je het wel goed?
Ja, en jou ook.
Nee joh, oké, mooi. Ik zei je gebruik die woorden, hè. Dus wanneer je, when you're feeling, for example, you have negative self-talk, say it out loud. I feel this, I have this belief. And really use how you're, even in general, saying, I feel so sad, I feel so angry, I feel so overwhelmed. Use your wording for it. It's not about how beautiful you dance, it's you expressing how you feel, as if it's a theater show. I want to make myself small, I want to disappear. If now anger wants to come up, feel free to move it. Move the pillow, hit a pillow, stand your feet on the ground. Maybe use your voice, scream into the pillow. want to invite you from this part to move into, if that feels right, if you still need to express it, please continue. But from this space, move into what it is that you would like to feel. I want to feel loved. I want to feel cared for. I want to slow down. And maybe from here, use a part of you that you're ready to let go of. Part that you've maybe already written down. Go of. And maybe symbolize letting it go. Maybe grieving that old part of you. Maybe expressing gratitude for that old part of you. Maybe even anger. Are you becoming? And now slowly come and sit down. So, going to slow down. And maybe from this space, express some self-love. Thank you for taking this time for me and doing this. Appreciate you. join the ball. Always welcome. Right. And then I'm going to ask you to take a minute with yourself. All right. And as we just had this big release, we're going to finish up with some somatic nervous system regulation practices. This is to help us step out of our reptile brain and into our thinking brain. So when we're feeling dysregulated, when our emotions are just building up and everything is just too much, our thinking brain is not working properly. So we have a lot of spiraling thoughts. Like this, the feeling of spiraling thoughts is a huge sign of dysregulated nervous system. Well, we have a lot of negative self-talk, also a big sign of a dysregulated nervous system. Like different emotions, almost a bit exploding out of us uncontrollably, signs of a dysregulated nervous system. So I want to invite you to join me as we're going to do the butterfly tap. So what we're going to do is we're going to hook our thumbs. So you can just place two hands on top of each other, hook our thumbs, place it in the center of our chest, and then we're going to tap one side and then the other. And as you're doing this, I'm going to explain, we're going to go over time a little bit. I'm sorry, I am really bad at time management. I'll do my best to keep it short over time, but we're going to take a little bit of time here with the nervous system regulation. So what we're doing here is we're doing bilateral stimulation. Now, what are we doing with that? Is we're saying to our brain, there is no actual tiger that's about to kill us, because that's what our body is trying to protect us from. But it comes in the form of an email from someone at work, or a message from someone in our phone, or like the response of a partner or a child or whoever. And our body mistakes that for a tiger ready to kill us. So with this bilateral stimulation, we're kind of saying, hey, there is no tiger. Come back and use your breaths. Now, tears might still flow here. That's great. Or you might notice that you'll start to yawn, also great. Or you might notice that you might need to burp, not so great. Or maybe some gas the other direction. Now, why would these things happen? These are all signals of our nervous system regulating, decharging. So tears are a huge sign of decharge from our nervous system. Big sign of a decharge from our nervous system. Helping us regulate, come back into regulation. Burping or gas in the other direction is also a sign that there's being oxygen put back into our digestive system because when we're in fight or flight or freeze, our body does not want to focus on our digestive system. It's trying to fight off a tiger. Why on earth would we focus on our digestive system? So when we regulate, those things might come back again. Or the yawning. Yawning is a big sign of our body saying, ah, we can acknowledge our tiredness. So you'll sleep a lot better tonight. After doing this, you'll notice that your sleep will be a lot better. Or the quality of your sleep will be a lot better. We're going to move on to the next one with very soft wrists. We're going to tap one side, then the other. Long exhales. See, for me, I need to burp now. All normal signs. Good signs, actually. You'll be yawning. It's also great to see other people yawning because we have mirror neurons in our body. So when someone yawns, our body goes, huh, you can relax now too. So that's why we also want to yawn because we have mirror neurons. And we're going to move to our throat very gently, very gently. We're going to stroke the sides of our throat. I'm not doing it here. I'm doing it on the side very gently. Now, why are we doing this? It's because our vagus nerve runs through the center of our body. And our vagus nerve is the nerve mainly responsible for the state of our nervous system. So if we're dysregulated, it's being guided by our vagus nerve. Now we kind of want to like go and like almost massage it, especially if our nervous system has been almost as if you worked out in a muscle on a gym and it's a muscle. It's not a muscle, but almost like that. And your nervous system has just been so dysregulated for so long, and we kind of want to like say massage it a little bit. It's all right. You're safe. And because it runs through the center of our throat, this way we're indirectly massaging our vagus nerve. Now, a lot of my clients, when they do this one, they need to cry because also our throat is a big place where we store a lot of the things we want to say but leave unexpressed, some of our fears that are stored there. So this can cause a big release, or it can cause a gigantic relaxation. Either one, both are fine. Both are very welcomed. Also, your body is highly personal, so that's why I'm giving you multiple options, multiple tools to regulate your nervous system, so you can pick and choose whatever works for your body, because no body is similar. So maybe this one is making you very uncomfortable. Please stop. You know your body best, so go to the one that works for you. And we're going to finish up with the last one. That is pulling our earlobes. I have earrings in. Just pulling our earlobes. Really pulling. And this is a beautiful one to do for our children as well. Because why are we doing this? Why on earth are we pulling our earlobes? Please pull both at the same time. I'm just doing one to show you. Why we're pulling our earlobes is because branches of our vagus nerve are running through our ears. So our vagus nerve runs through the center of our body, and we can't really reach it, but we can reach, for example, the branches. Again, this is like between massaging our vagus nerve. I personally love this one by using our breath. See me yawning again. It's my body saying, relaxing. We're dropping in relaxation. Using the breath as well. And then put your hands on your lap and just check in with your body. How's your body feeling after all of this? Was there one that your body loved the most? Is your body ready for sleep or a good nap? Or maybe it's still releasing. And And then from here, I'm going to pause it for a minute again, before we're going to go to the last part. All right. So then we came to the last part of the training. Now you've learned a lot of different tools today, dropped into your body, listen to the signals of your body, the signals you've been ignoring of your body. And right now you have a choice. What you can do is you can do it the slow way. You can walk away with the knowledge you received today. And you probably will do this one or two more times. And then you'll get lost in the busyness of your life again. I've seen this happening. So you'll probably experience some more snappiness as well. You're going to experience some more pain and some sickness, tiredness, and maybe even illnesses, maybe some depression or even unhappiness. That would be the slow way. Or you can choose to join me in my signature program, Soulful Rebirth, that I really love. I'm really excited about the program. And what do we do in Soulful Rebirth? What we do is a 3-month program. And in the 3-month program, you have 10 live group coaching calls. And in the 10 group coaching calls, what we do is we have somatic practices and we have transformational practices. A little bit of combination of what we did today. The calls are longer though. So we go in, obviously, this is a free training. So we can only do so much in the free training, of course. So when we have the group live calls, we get to really dive in deep with the transformational practices, with the somatic practices. We work with the body, and every single week we use a different tool. So, for example, for the somatic practices, is breath work, it's yoga, it's ecstatic dance, it's nervous system regulation tools, it's so many different types of somatic practices that we will use. Every week you'll get a different meditation that's combined with the topic of that week. So, for example, well, I'll go into the example, but give a quick example. For example, that week it can be self-love and self-talk. The meditation that you'll have that week will be part of, obviously, supportive of the topic of that week. Now, as I mentioned, we're combining that with transformational practices, and those practices are, for example, self-love practices, inner parts work. For those of you who don't know that, that comes from the idea that we exist of different parts. For example, inner child part, but also we have protective parts, the parts that try to keep us safe with, for example, being defensive or staying busy. Those are protective parts. There's many different parts. So look it up if you want to know a little more about inner parts work, but we'll use that in the group program. We'll do shadow work. That shadow work is looking at the parts of ourselves that we fully judge. We all have those parts. It becomes a problem if we do not look at it because our shadows will run our lives for us. We have to bring it to the front and look at it. We have to look at our shadows. And we'll use many other different beautiful practices. In the program, you have your own personal workbook, and every week you'll get a different video to watch, and every week you'll have different exercises that you get to do. Now, imagine that life where you're actually feeling calm, where you're actually feeling well rested, where you actually feel deep joy, where you actually feel deep love for yourself, where your inner voice is not a hater anymore, but someone who is like your cheerleader, your supporter. Imagine showing your children, your partner, your friends, your colleagues how to actually truly regulate yourself. Not just by talking about it, but by being an example. All of the things I just mentioned, we all deserve that. Now, how much will the investment in yourself be? My one-on-one sessions, they start at 1,444 euros. And right now, I'm not taking any more one-on-one clients because I am completely full. And again, you can choose to continue to toughen this out, but you and I both know that this is going to cost really a lot more than just money. It will be passing on generational patterns to your children, tension in your relationship, because you're really not feeling good. So that's going to reflect in your relationships or experiencing more pain in your body, more tiredness. It will create a lot more ruptures. It will cost you a lot more to now not actually take yourself serious and to not show up for yourself. Now, my program investment should be at least 2,000 euros, but it's not even 1,500 euros. It is currently priced at only 888 euros. And for everything that you get in it, that's wildly low. And I actually got the feedback from old students that it's way too low for what I'm offering. And on top of that, I also offer payment plans. So you can actually join for as only 222 euros per month. So, and I'm doing that with the purpose of making it accessible for everyone. Because as I mentioned, everyone needs to have these tools. Everyone needs to learn this. And this is not something we learn. This is not something that's common knowledge. And it should be. It really, really should be. Now, on top of it, if you decide in the next 48 hours that you want to join the program, you'll get a free one-on-one session with me for 60 minutes. Or if you pay in, not or, and if you pay in full, you also get on top of that access to the self-love quest. And in the self-love quest, this is a self-paced program where we dive super deep into self-love. Now, I would love to share a testimonial for you, like some testimonials from the last couple of groups, the last Soulful Rebirth groups. I would love to. I highlighted a couple of like uh, quotes from them, so I'll read them to you. So one last student said, well, it wasn't the last one, it was the one before. Soulful Rebirth saved my relationship. And someone else shared, the fact that I now teach my children and my husband this is priceless to me. And someone else shared, the amount of knowledge and wisdom, resources, and guidance Shanti provide is truly life-changing. Now, these are a couple of testimonials that I'm reading to you, but if you're like, I am very interested in joining a program, but I want to talk to an old student, I actually have some old students of mine who offered to talk with anyone who has questions and want to talk to someone who already been through the program. So if you don't want to take my word for it, you can absolutely just let me know and I'll set up a call with you and the student, or I'll give their phone numbers to you. Now, if you're watching this back, if you have any questions, feel free to message me, feel free to email me, reach out with your questions. And then I am going to pause again. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And thank you all so much for being here, for watching, for being a part of this. And I'll see you soon.